Welcome back. Today, we're talking to Mr. Pratap Vijay Padode from Aspire International Group. And we have a very interesting upcoming event coming up with you this weekend, which is what brings you to the US this time. Before we go into talking about the event, I want you to tell us what are some of the other events that your company has organized, been a part of, and out there promoting it. You know, what it is that you do with these events and what it is that you're trying to accomplish with these events.
Like I said, we offer a 360-degree infrastructure information network. And what it really means that beyond the magazines, there is a need for, and especially in infrastructure sector, which is not so easy to understand just by flipping a few pages.
Exactly.
There is need to meet the experts, ask questions, deliberate, discuss, debate topics in policy. So there was a need to do conferences.
Okay.
The strategy from our point of view, it also helps to build the brand.
Okay.
So we started conferences. We do around 15 conferences a year.
Okay.
So we do like conference on metro rail, on ports, airports, roads, coal, power.
Okay.
So many renewable energy, infrastructure finance. So plenty of these specialist niche topics, which all constitute infrastructure in a broad manner. But you need to know much more deeper, you need to get deeper insights into these subjects.
Before you do that, I'm going to ask you, are these only catered within India or these are worldwide, these conferences?
Well, currently they're all in India.
Okay.
And now we've just about stepped out now with the US.
Okay.
We have done couple of them in the Middle East.
Okay.
But more are being planned now.
Okay.
And so this is actually one way of bringing ASAP out through Aspire now.
Okay.
All around the world. Conferences will definitely be the first step that we take outside.
Okay.
So that's how we do these 15 conferences. And then we also do awards.
Okay. Tell me a little about these awards because I want to know about that. You're giving out these awards, you're recognizing people for what it is that they've done. How do you choose who's the recipient of this award? What it is that categorizes them to receive this award?
Back to chartered accountant.
We got the next hat on, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there, of course, with my experience, again, I came handy with research.
Okay.
And we developed a model where in construction, we said, okay, let's find out the fastest growing construction companies.
Okay.
See, in India, we've got L&T. And L&T is so big that if we were to just give awards to those companies that are the biggest, L&T would just take the award and there would be nobody else who would get an award.
Exactly.
So we wanted to see, okay, who's growing fastest? And then the next thing is, who's growing fastest consistently?
Okay.
So that's important.
Okay.
You can do 1 year, you can have a blip and you can say, wow, there I go.
Exactly.
But then that's not fair.
Yep.
So we take 6 years and we take 5 accounting years, therefore.
Okay.
And we see their profits and we see their sales. And we give equal weightage to both of them. And we integrate a model and then we get the ranks.
Alrighty.
So basically we are awarding the fastest growing construction companies in large category, medium category and small category.
Okay.
And then these are construction contracting companies.
Okay.
Then we do building materials, so like cement, steel, all the building materials.
Okay.
Similarly, fastest growing.
Okay.
And so these are one set of awards that we do.
Okay.
This year we'll be celebrating the 9th Construction World Annual Awards.
Okay.
Yeah, and the industry has actually accepted our model. We have a jury which has the right to veto a company because although it is, sort of coming up the charts, but there are certain objections, qualitative,
Okay.
and if they want to veto the company, they can.
They can.
And we have a very esteemed jury member and we have lots of debates.
They've got their guidelines, strict guidelines to follow.
Yeah.
Well, now, this is for companies that you're taking a look at the track record of last 6 years. What about the new and upcoming companies whom you want to give the initiative and give a pat on the back? Job well done. So how about the newcomers in the industry? Have you set up anything for them yet?
Well, we have given one-off awards of that kind.
Okay.
Like this time, focus for, let me also explain, there's another award that we do, Construction World Architect and Builder Awards.
Okay.
So while we do contracting companies separately, we do architect and builders separately.
Okay.
Here, the model is purely on perception because it's It's your interaction with various stakeholders in the business that actually builds up your goodwill.
Okay.
So a builder is actually dealing with a contractor, building material supplier, banks, shareholders, and so on.
Okay.
And they all, how he deals with them actually constitutes his goodwill.
Okay.
So we ask people to rank them according to their perception in all, and the people who are ranking them are from all these areas, like they are architects, they are, building material suppliers or bankers and all that.
So basically, you're really going back to the essence of the word where construction, like you said, was considered a bad word. You're eliminating it, not even just trying to take it out. You're just absolutely eliminating it and saying, you know what? If you're doing a good job, we're giving you the credibility, but we're not the one who are going to give you the credibility.
Yeah.
It's the people that you're dealing with are the ones who are going to give you the credibility. So when these people are getting recognized, it's really their peers that are saying, yes, he's an honest man. You should do business with him.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to
Right.
then, which is what we want to, we want people to know about that because, like you said, you just don't know who it is that you're dealing with. So more that the person's, this is so-called their reference check. That's exactly what it comes down to.
You hit upon it because
Yes.
that's, and it is actually coming to that.
Yeah.
There are the builders who were in our list 6 years ago, do not figure in the list anymore. And those which are very strong on corporate governance, transparency,
Okay.
dealing with customers, they are figuring very well consistently and they're coming up the charts.
Okay.
So it is showing that people have, they recognize those companies which have these kind of ethics
Okay.
on top.
So you're setting a standard, you're setting a benchmark
Yeah.
for the construction industry, which is about time that someone does it. And I'm glad that you're doing it. And you know what? Considering as young as you are, if you do it at this stage and you're recognizing other peers of yours, hopefully the older they get, they'll maintain those standards. So the coming generations will be following suit with it.
Yeah.
So I'll come back to the same question. Are we planning to do something with the newcomers? Just giving them a push so that, the one who struggles the most is the one who's new in business. The one who's established, even for 2 to 3 years, he knows once his database is set up, his clientele is set up, it's easier for them. Would you consider setting something up for the newcomers in the industry to give them that push?
See, in a way, the fastest growing construction companies has room in the small category to recognize them because
Okay.
it's the growth area. So maybe somebody starts small and then the percentage growth is very good
Okay.
because the numbers are smaller earlier,
Okay.
and he does get recognized there.
Okay.
But apart from that, the third set of awards that we do, Infrastructure Today Awards,
Okay.
that has a different model altogether again
Okay.
because there the data is even more difficult to find.
Okay.
Because it's just about starting to happen in India where people have taken up airports as operators,
Yep.
or ports as operators, or roads as operators. So we have got a partner in KPMG in that, a knowledge partner,
Okay.
and because that requires even beyond our research.
Absolutely.
And they have got extensive international sort of study and knowledge on this
Reach
subject.
out there. Mhm.
So with them there we recognize projects already completed or financially closed, and there may be new companies who've sort of put together a nice bouquet consortium of nice partners,
Okay.
and they can be awarded
They
because
can
they've
be
done a good project.
Okay. Now, another thing that's really good about your company that you're offering is different seminars, so to speak, where you're giving skills and hands-on counseling to people who want to get into this industry. So I think that's really nice because it's not that often that people do that, because usually it's like, you know what, I own it, my son's going to own it, his son's going to own it, and that's how it's going to stay, and we're going to teach them the business. We need someone who can come from the outside and say, you know what, you want to learn this? Well, we've got avenues to teach you. So tell us a little about that as well, because I think that's a great effort that you're putting out there.
Well, this is a sort of personal passion that it has evolved, that we wanted to see that how we can make a difference in changing lives of people.
Okay.
And the best thing to do is if you can find a solution within your activity or your own business to be able to make that difference.
Okay.
And the government came out with a scheme where they wanted private sector companies to actually adopt ITIs, the Industrial Training Institutes.
Okay.
India has got around 1,500 of them, and they're not very well run.
Okay.
Government needed private partners to actually develop them.
Okay.
So we've taken up one in New Bombay now,
Okay.
where actually people who just about are, they've cleared out of fourth standard or eighth standard in school, or dropouts or something like
Dropouts,
that,
yeah.
they can actually enroll,
Okay.
and they are given vocational training
Okay.
at very, very economical rates.
Okay.
And what happens is once they clear this 2-year course or 1-year course, they are able to get jobs at much higher wages than they would have otherwise got when they were
Otherwise, yeah.
untrained. And India has a great requirement of workers, skilled workers, 30 million as per last count,
Wow.
and growing because the needs of infrastructure are growing as well.
Growing. Yes.
So we feel that we're working on a model that we feel that our plan is to be able to train 10 million people in the next 5 years.
Wow.
It's a very, very, very ambitious plan, but I'm hoping that I have a good enough support from people, like-minded people, in being able to translate this into reality.
Okay. Well, you know what? The only way that can be done is you set yourself a goal like that, and the only way to accomplish it is to set it and then go for it.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent goal that you've set for yourself, and I do definitely wish you all the best with it, because we need one, something like that. Second, we need people with a vision like that, because that's the only way we can change. This so-called, India used to be called a third world nation, not anymore, but with more educational and hands-on training, vocational trainings that you're offering is only going to help our generation. So I think that's an excellent thing that you're doing. Now tell me about this, which leads us all into the big upcoming event this weekend.
Yeah.
This is being organized by Aspire International Group, okay? And it's to discuss the Infrastructure Today India Opportunity 2011 Conference. This is first of its kind that you're doing, I understand?
Right.
And the lineups of the speakers, the guests, the dignitaries that you have there is absolutely amazing. So I am going to first ask you, with everything that I'm reading about this, the conference will have participation from over 100 delegates, including ministers, bureaucrats, planners, and industrialists from India and the USA, to give their expert presentations on policy, finance, and technical aspects of infrastructure in India.
Right.
That's really strong. I mean, just reading it, it's strong. Putting it together, it's definitely a job that's well done and executed from what I'm hearing. And I'm looking forward to seeing it this weekend. So tell me a little about that before we go into the break. Give me a little synopsis of this.
See, India now has planned in the 12th five-year plan, which begins 2012 and ends in 2017, a requirement of investment of $1 trillion in infrastructure,
Okay.
of which 50%, which is 500 billion, has to come from the private sector. And India, and we know that the government doesn't have that much money, so we need to actually engage with the world, which is actually seeking that kind of an opportunity in a growing economy.
Okay.
The US, with the current situation that it is in, it needs to integrate with the Indian economy in offering that kind of activity for infrastructure, because we need the experience that US has, the funds that US can provide, long-term funds, because infrastructure is a business which requires long-term funds, because there's a long-term gestation there involved. And so far, the US has been on the sidelines watching and selling equipment to India, whether it be power or nuclear or any of that kind. But I think it's time now that the US, and it is, I think they are already an advanced stage of considering this, that they must engage as developers in our growing economy, take on the risks of developers, and so that you can have people take up airports, ports. Now we've got 500 airports in India, supposed to be, of which only 100 actually operate, and there are 5,000 airports in the United States.
And
so we've got a long way to go.
We have a long way. So you know what? I'm going to continue on this dialogue after a short break. I want to hear more about this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.